Hey YouTube, James from the Wyvern Watch here, and welcome to another deck profile. This is the one that was sort of second highest votes on the recent poll of decks I should do an update for. You can probably hear a load of dogs in the background because the weather's extremely nice outside, and they all want to talk to each other for some reason. At the moment, I just hit record, so great, thanks for that. But putting that to one side for a minute, this is the sort of second deck that I put it's a proper archetypal deck. The first being Exorcisters, not Exorcisters, that was a lot later, X-Sabers of course, and then the Noble Knight sort of pre-made box came out with all the sort of platinum rare cards in it. And I immediately sort of got into the whole artwork and the whole sort of lore side of things on Noble Knights, and it's been a staple deck for me for a long period of time now. This is the second update I've done on this channel. The first one is not a lot different from this one, but it is different because unfortunately we do mourn the loss of Isolde, and not because Noble Knights are too powerful, but because Isolde offers far too much for pretty much any warrior deck going. So it is annoying when things like that happen, because obviously it benefits this deck greatly, but it also benefits other decks as well, and it is a shame when we can't include one of the major components in the Noble Knight lineup. Having said that, we'll put that to one side and we'll get on with the profile, because like I say, this is absolutely one of my favourites. And I still start with three. Oh, there's no ignoble Knight. Sorry, there's no Infinoble Knight stuff in this. This is a pure build Noble Knight, the original, the OG deck list, if you like. And of course, we can't start without Noble Knight Withdraw. It does a lot for the deck, and it's a great looking card. We've also got this in a secret rare, which hasn't been reprinted in a long time. I think the platinum rare out of the fan box, or whatever it was called, was actually the first reprint since this original print came out. But this is treated as a normal summon normal monster while face up on the field, and it can be equipped with a Noble Arms card, and then it gains the following effect. So the effect. The card becomes dark and its level increased by 1, which can be important, of course. Once per turn, if you control no monsters, you can special summon one Noble Knight monster from your deck in face-up defense position, except Noble Knight Withdraw. And obviously, there's a very familiar combo in using Boars, which is coming up soon. But before we get to Boars, I've got another 3 of, which is Noble Knight Brothers. Again, because of the utility that it gives us. But this card can only attack if you control exactly 3 Noble Knight monsters and no other monsters. When this card is normal summoned, you can add special summon up to 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand, but cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Noble Knight monsters. And then also, quite importantly, once per turn, you can target 3 Noble Knight and or Noble Arms cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, and then draw 1 card. That last one's a nice little bonus as well, but it's nice, you can sit on this one as well, because in defense position, it being 2400 defense, but it's a nice little sort of opener, especially if you get the extra summons off as well. The last of the 3 offs is one of the newer cards. I'm not saying it's new, because it definitely isn't, but it's definitely newer for the archetype, and obviously we've got this one in the prismatic rare out of the Megatin 19. Really pretty card. So this is Morgan the Enchantress of Avalon. There's a lot of Avalon cards actually that go in line with Noble Knights, but unfortunately they're just not that great. But this one is. So when your opponent activates a card effect while you control a Noble Knight monster and a Noble Arms equips quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, destroy 1 Noble Arms equipped spell you control, and if you do, negate the activation. You can only control the effect of Morgan the Enchantress of Avalon once per turn, which is fine. Most of the time, if you have got a Noble Knight on the board, chances are you've got a Noble Arms as well. And if you haven't, you're probably not going to win that game, because you need them. But we'll get to Noble Arms in a moment. This is the other component to the old combo that I was telling you about. So Noble Knight Boars. This is similar, so if it's treated as a normal monster while face up on the field, and when equipped with a Noble Arms card, it becomes an effect monster with the following effect. This card becomes dark and increases by level by 1, again quite important. During your main phase you can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck. Have your opponent randomly add one of them to your hand and send the rest to the graveyard. That's quite important because it does say Noble Arms cards and not with different names, so you could potentially get all, pull 3 of something out and guarantee that you're going to get that one to your hand. The next 2 of is Noble Knight Gwen. Straighten those up a little bit. Very similar this one, very simple this one. So if you control a light normal monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in face up defense position. So again, if you've got a Madraw and or a Boars, they are normal monsters while on the field, and of course they are still light, so you can go ahead and get the extra monster on board. One of the newer cards again is Noble Knight Custonin. Fantastic artwork on these, I really do like them. Great big broadsword or something there he's got there. So if you control a Noble Arms equip spell, you can special summon this card from your hand, which again should be the case. You can only special summon Noble Knight Customer once per turn this way. A Noble Knight monster that was Synchro XYZ or Link summoned using this card as on the field as material gains this effect. If this card is special summoned, you can normal summon 1 Noble Knight monster during your main phase this turn in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn, and also you cannot special summon monsters for the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Noble Knight monsters. So you get the extra normal summon should you go for a Link and or XE. And then a few one-offs, just a couple of one-offs in terms of the Noble Knight monsters. So we've got Ivan and Noble Knight Dristan as well. Dristan being one of the older ones, one of my favourites of course as well. While you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent cannot target monsters with less than 1800 attack except this card for attacks or with card effects. And while when a Noble Arms equip spell is equipped to this card, target 1 face-up card on the field, destroy that target. That one's a compulsory effect as well, so be wary when using that, because obviously you could end up blowing up one of your own cards if you're not careful. And then Ivan, if Noble Arms equip spell becomes equipped to this card, you can special summon 1 Noble Knight token, Warrior Light, level 4, attack 1000, defense 1000. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Noble Knight monsters. You can only use the effect of Noble Knight Ivan once per turn, and when this card is equipped with a Noble Arms equip spell, all other Noble Knight monsters you control gain 500 attack. Nice little function. Again, I only see sort of reason to cause to have one of them though. Merlin's gone up to 3, down to 1, and we're currently sitting on 2. So I think this is the right ratio for Merlin. But a great card, and obviously it goes really in line with the sort of Arthur and Camelot and that sort of theme, which I love entirely. So you can only use each of the effects of Merlin once per turn. You can tribute this card, special summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. You cannot special summon monsters for the turn you activate this effect except Noble Knight monsters. And then quick effect, these are the more important ones. So you can banish this card from the graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon 1 Noble Knight Synchro monster from using monsters you control. Or you can banish this card from the graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. XYZ summon 1 Noble Knight XYZ is a monster using 1 XYZ monster you control as material. So you basically can rank up on the Noble Knights basically. Banish this card from your graveyard immediately after XYZ summon 1 Noble Knight monster using monsters you control. So again, it does come up. It's the Excalibur option that for ranking up that becomes more important. This one for me is one of the more important cards though. So we only have to play this one on 1. Gwenhwyfar, Queen of the Noble Arms. She is classed as a Noble Arms card as well. So if some of the searchers only search Noble Arms cards, so we can very quickly search this one out. But you can target 1 Noble Knight monster you control, equip this card from your hand or graveyard to that target. You can only use the effect of Gwenhwyfar, Queen of Noble Arms once per turn. The equipped monster also gains 300 attack. Apply the appropriate effect depending on the attribute of the equipped monster. If it's a light monster, the equipped monster would be destroyed by a card effect. You can destroy this card instead. Or if it's a dark monster, if the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster at the start of damage step, you can destroy that monster, then destroy this card. But if it's gone to the graveyard, the next turn you can bring it back and obviously re-equip it to whatever you need it equipping to. And obviously the equip itself means that the cards change. So, you know, for a Mudraw or a Boars, it means you get it to level 5 and get the extra effect for it. This is the only non-Noble Knight monster that I'm running. So you can banish one equipped spell from your field or graveyard to special summon this card from your hand immediately. Pretty easy to do. And at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks, you can equip one face-up monster on the field to this card, max 1, as an equipped spell that gives this card a 500 attack. When a monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can send one face-up equipped card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use the effect of Emil Phoenix Gearfried once per turn. But immediately, really nice. Oh, this one's in Collector's Rare, I've just realised as well, I've forgotten about that. Both my Isoldes are in Collector's Rare as well, which is a bit fuming about when I had to take those out. But yeah, really nice, pretty card. And that's it for monsters, guys. So now I'm going to go through my Noble Arms lineup. Now, a lot of people's versions of Noble Arms will change, but this is the one I'm going with. So I've got 2 Excalibur, 2 Destiny, 2 Caliburn. Those are the only 2 of, so let's just space these out for you. So Caliburn gives the equipped monster 500 attack, and it can gain life points by 500 for once per turn. But it's a soft once per turn, so if you manage to use Caliburn, then goes to the grave and then bring it back again, you can use it again. And there is a combo in place where actually you can use it 3 times in the same phase, so immediately it's not in the same phase, but in the same turn, where you're adding 1500 life points. Destiny is very simple. It just means that once per turn, the equipped monster, which would be destroyed, wouldn't be. But obviously it just protection for once. And then Excalibur, a really important card. So basically means that the monster can't be targeted for any card effects, but it also gives you the rank up option for XYZ so summoning as well. So it just means that if your Artorigus is on the field, then you can go to the Sacred Noble Knight instead, and you know, from rank 4 to rank 5. People don't expect that either, so it's a really nice little function. And then the only one-offs in terms of Noble Arms, if you've got 1 Gallatin, 1 Arfiducia and 1 Clarent. Clarent allows you to attack directly. Arfiducia allows you to target and destroy 1 second. Sorry about that, my boy's just wondering where I am. Yeah, so Arfiducia allows you to target and destroy a face down spell or trap card. And Gallatin improves by 1000 attack to the equipped monster, but reduces it by 200 on every one of your standby phases. Very useful for the immediate attack boost. Again, one of the newer ones, this Heritage of the Chalice. Amazing card for the deck. This one has to be at 3. But yeah, super artwork as well. That'll be Artorigus, King of the Noble Knights in the background, and then Noble Knight Custom in the front. But yeah, Prismatic Rare from the Megatin 19. Add 1 Noble Knight monster or 1 Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. Deck or graveyard to your hand, I should say. And if your Noble Knight monster equipped with a Noble Arms spell is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card add this card to your hand. Amazing card, and obviously got the recursion there as well. And I'm still playing 2 of the Glory of the Noble Knights as well, which is the quick play spell. So target 1 Noble Knight monster you control, equip it with 1 equip spell from your deck that it can equip to that target, and you can only activate 1 Glory of the Noble Knights per turn. Really, really strong, because obviously that will surprise your opponent. And then a few spell one-offs. I've got one Reinforcement of the Army, one Monster Reborn, and one Foolish Burial. The Foolish Burial is, of course, to dump the Gwenhwyfar, so we can make use of her effect straight away. Monster Reborn is fairly obvious. Reinforcement of the Army is my only one of these. Actually, this is actually the Pharaoh rare Reinforcement of the Army. Really, really pretty. I thought if you're going to put a Pharaoh rare Reinforcement of the Army in a deck, it's got to be Noble Knights. Add one level, well, you know what Reinforcement of the Army is. I don't need to read that out for you. That's it for spell, guys. And we only run one trap, which is the same as it was in my last profile, because I do like to, if I get Boar's effect off early, I do like to make sure actually I use all three, pull through all three of these out of the deck, make sure I get ones on hand, and then the other two go to the graveyard, because you can excavate cards up to the top of your deck equal to the number of noble arms equipped spells you control, and if you do, add one of them to your hand. Also, place the remaining cards on top of the deck in any order. You can banish this card from your graveyard except the turn it was sent to the graveyard. Special summon from your deck one Noble Knight monster with different name from the cards you control and in your graveyard. And again, you can only use that once per turn. So if you get one to your hand and then the other two into the grave, you can immediately use, well, not immediately, but the next turn you can use their effects. And again, the same turn after that. And it also means you're not drawing it on your normal draw phase. That's it for the main deck, guys. On to the extra deck. I'll try and speed this up a little bit. Most of them are fairly familiar, but we are, of course, running two of the Artorigus King of the Noble Knights. Last time I started with Isolde, sad times. Unfortunately, it's no longer here. I'll keep him in my collection until it is back in the game. I'm sure it will be at some point. But Ultimate Rare, King of Artorius, Artorius, the King of the Noble Knights. Absolutely cracking card. This is the the rank 4 version. So when this card is XYZ summoned, you can target up to 3 noble arms equipped spells from your with different names in your graveyard. Equip those targets to this card, and then once per turn you can detach one material from this card, destroy any number of spell track cards on the field up to the number of noble arms equipped spells you control. By that time you should be controlling a fair number. And then of course its counterpart, the rank 5 option, Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorigus. Which if you've done your combo with Madraw and Boars, you will probably be going into first. But when this card is XYZ summoned, you can target up to 3 noble arms equipped spells with different names in your graveyard and equip those targets to this card. And then once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one monster on the field and destroy that target. And if this card on the field is sent to the graveyard, you can target one level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. Great card for the archetype. And then the newer of the XYZ monsters is Sacred Noble Knight of King Custonin. So you can detach any number of materials from this card, then target that many cards from your your opponent controls return to the hand. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Noble Knight XYZ monster from your extra deck, except Sacred Noble Knight of King of Custonin. And if you do, attach this card from the graveyard to that monster as material, and it's treated as an XYZ material summon, which means you get the effects off, assuming you're going for King Artorigus and or Sacred Noble Knight. And then the rest of the extra deck is fairly staple. So again, Tornado Dragon, very staple, rank 4 for me. Starliege Polydimino, quite a common one. Well, it certainly used to be a common one, probably not so much anymore. Comic Hero, King Arthur, how can you not run that card in this deck? Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, a very good rank 4 option at the moment. Heroic Champion Excalibur in the Ghost Rare. Again, just noticed that, to be honest with you. It's been a while since I summoned that card, but it's there if I need it. And we've also got number 39 Utopia in the Ultimate Rare. Just flashing that a little bit, and also the Utopia the Lightning, also in Ultimate Rare. And then the last of the XYZ, of course, is Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, also in Ultimate Rare on this particular occasion. But yeah, a good lineup. You don't go into an awful lot, because obviously you're primarily locked into Noble Knight monsters on most of the occasion. But they're all good to have and very useful cards should you get a chance to use them. And then last is just the 2 links. Now these basically have replaced the Isolde. So I've got 1 Lena, the light charmer. Obviously majority of the deck is light. And then Mech Knight Crusader Avramax, because obviously you're going to have extra monsters all over the place with this deck. And I thought, why not? Guys, that is the Noble Knight deck profile for you. Thank you very much for voting for it. It's one of my favourites. It's one of my earliest. Like I say, this is deck number 2 out of 49 currently. I really enjoy playing this deck. I haven't done for a long time. You know what? I'm probably going to have to get more familiar with it, because this deck is really what I've been known for playing for quite some years now. Not so much recently, because more recently it's Exorcista and or Cosmo and or Invoke Dogmatica. But this deck is not, you know, it ain't going to win you any awards, let's put it that way, but it's super good fun to play and the artwork is amazing. Guys, thanks once again. Please keep your comments coming, keep the subscriptions coming, keep the likes coming. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Be happy to answer any questions you might have, and we'll see you on the next profile. Cheers, bye.